Hello, and welcome to the Performer's Guide, Pricing Yourself Like a Pro. My name is Kristen Railing, and today we will be discussing pricing strategies. So often, pretty much weekly, almost daily, do I see and hear of performers complaining about being undercut by their competitors, by not getting their rates, and really calling for people to stick within the industry standards. But I don't think a lot of people fully understand what the industry standards are. And this can be really confusing if we're asked to stay within something that we don't fully understand. And so this module is designed to break down undercutting, underbidding, industry standards, price fixing, and pricing strategies that you can utilize to leverage sales for your business. First, I want to discuss the difference between undercutting and underbidding, because I think that these two often get confused for one another, and I just want to clarify that. So the act of undercutting is a deliberate and specific act of offering your services lower than a competitor that you know is bidding for the exact same gig as you to that client. Underbidding, however, is an unintentional, unconscious action of a small business or a performer who just has lower prices and a lower price point than their competitor. And so I think a lot of people are calling out undercutting when they're really talking about underbidding, because I really don't think most performers are deliberately trying to undercut. I think that we all just have different pricing strategies. We all have different expenses, different needs. We value our time differently. And therefore, our rates are just going to naturally differ. And someone will have the lowest rates at some point. And so when you talk about being undercut, there's this huge call for staying within the industry standards. This isn't the industry standard, but how do we stay within that if we don't even know what it is? And so we're going to talk about what industry standards actually are and what they do and don't include. Industry standards are a set of criteria that you utilize to gauge your relationship between the business and the market. This is not standards between competitors. And so that's the first thing we really want to understand, that the industry standards really care about the market's needs more than the businesses. Next, we're going to want to figure out what exactly industry standards cover. And they really just want to make sure that the products and services that you're delivering to the market are safe, consistent, and reliable. But nowhere in the industry standards do they actually talk about pricing specifically and the way that we should be pricing. And so I think this is a big confusion that people have with what industry standards are. They don't include pricing. So here's some facts that I've pulled, and I'm just going to go over them with you. Does underbidding actually go against industry standards? No. According to the Federal Trade Commission, pricing below the cost of your competitor is actually good for the market. And it actually doesn't violate antitrust laws in the way that price fixing does. And so for there to be two competitors, one with a higher price and one with a lower price, that's actually good for the market and good for your client to have choices and options. Otherwise, it becomes a monopoly. Can prices ever be too low? According to the Federal Trade Commission, yes, but not very often. And it's not because of the reasons that you think they are. The only reason that they could be harmed is if you're not able to pay your own bills. Okay. If you're not able to raise the capital to function as a business, then your prices are going to be too low. Otherwise we don't really want to be listening to our competitors about how low our prices are. Does underbidding hurt the market? No, actually underbidding is good for the market because it creates a supply and demand line for which the price sort of naturally finds itself. And this actually drives competition and it encourages people to offer higher quality services at a better rate, which is actually better for the market. Does underbidding hurt the business owner themselves? If you are able to leverage short-term and long-term pricing strategies in your favor, underbidding can actually be really good for the business owner. It can drive up sales, can drive up traffic. And so we really want to learn how to play with our numbers in our favor so that we can learn to underbid or overbid for gigs. So what people are actually asking for is not for people to stop undercutting. What they're actually calling for is price fixing, and that's illegal. So what is price fixing? Price fixing is the act of multiple businesses coming together to create an agreement on the price of a product. This is illegal. And it actually violates the antitrust law. And we need to stop asking people to copy our rates and to price fix and to stay within some standard that doesn't actually exist. So according to the Federal Trade Commission, price fixing it could be written, it could be verbal, or it could be inferred. And it happens between two competitors. And oftentimes it includes discussions about pricing, shipping fees, warranties, discount programs, financing, pricing strategies. All of these are none of your competitors' business and should never be discussed in a way that we are fixing the prices. You can compare your prices to your competitors, but in no way should we be asking them to copy our rates. So antitrust scrutiny can occur when competitors discuss future price, past price, pricing policies, promotions, bids, contracts, costs, the capacity, discounts, customer relationships, research and development, production quotes. Like I see people all across the board trying to tell other people what they should and shouldn't be charging for their businesses. And it's straight up illegal. We need to stop doing this. Antitrust laws require that each business establishes their own price based on their needs, their client's market, and their own numbers. And we base it on the supply and demand line, not by copying each other's rates. And so here's a just simple concept of what a supply and demand line looks like. And we can see here that when we move the costs around up and down, that actually can increase or decrease our sales. And by lowering the cost, we can actually drastically increase our sales to where the market wants it to be and where it's actually healthy for both the market and the business. But if we continually just try to charge too much, we're going to lose clients and we're going to lose credibility, and it's actually bad for the market. So we need to base our prices on the supply and demand curve line for our business within our market, not asking people to price fix because we're afraid of them undercutting us. So the supply and demand is the heart of the market. This is what should be driving the prices of your services. The demand from your customers could either drive up or drive down the cost of the supply that you're providing for them. And so this isn't an agreement based on your competitors, because your competitor has an opposite negotiation tactic for your needs, right? They're literally your competitor. Why would we be asking our competitors for advice on pricing for a client that we're both bidding for? It just doesn't make sense. Instead, we want to be utilizing pricing strategies. And there's actually a wide variety of pricing strategies that we could be utilizing for our business in both short-term and long-term campaigns that raise the price, lower the price, and are actually really good for the market. And so we're going to go over just a few of them, pricing strategies that are not only safe, reasonable, but legal pricing strategies. Okay. And I pulled these all from QuickBooks. So the first one is pricing for market penetration. So this is when you're a new business, maybe you don't have a lot of following built up and a lot of that social credit to sell a new product at a high price. You might want to get some feedback, get some testimonials, get some clients, get the ball rolling a little bit and entering into the market. In which case you might actually lower your prices way lower than your competitors and what you would normally do, just to get the service out into the market so that people can see it. And then once there's a higher demand, then you raise the price. Because remember, lower demand, lower price, higher demand, higher price. So the next is economy pricing. This is a pricing strategy. It's kind of no frills, no bonuses, very basic approach to clients who just don't have a lot of money, right? And so you can see if our client is more of an economy-based client, and you can adjust your rates to meet their needs by offering shorter services, less services, or something that is just within their pricing standard. If we always go in at our top rate, highest point, we're going to miss out on a lot of lower pricing potentials that can really add up. So next is price skimming, which is really designed to help businesses maximize sales on new products and services. And it's kind of similar to market penetration, but that's usually more for like an entire business. And then the price skimming is just, you just kind of like 10% off, or you just skim a little bit off the top so that it kind of comes in already at a discount. And so people get an idea of what the full price is, but it's offered as a skimmed discount, but that's just the price that it was. Make sense? So next we have psychological pricing, and this is sort of similar to what we talked about of basing your prices on value. And we just have to utilize psychological tactics to kind of see what we think the client thinks of our business. And we can base our prices just based on what we think the client will pay based on their perceived value of our business. And so you can offer the same service to two different markets at a higher or lower price based on their psychology. Next, we have bundle pricing. And so this you can do in a few different ways. If you have a client that wants one service, you could bundle them into buying multiple services in one event. You could bundle them into getting more time with you, or you could bundle them into booking multiple events with you. And so this is a way to get more work and lower the rate for your client so that they get a discount and you get more work. And so you can choose the bundle price, again, based on their psychology, based on what you think they can afford, and based on what you think they want bundled. And so you can just bundle any of your products and services in any way and price them in any way to any client. Next, we have geographical pricing, and this is pricing based on where your clients live. So if your clients live in a country where the exchange rate is low, you might charge it different than if the exchange rate is really high. And so we want to learn to figure out what the economics of the clientele in that geographical location is, how much you think they're willing to pay, and price it based on that. And so you can price the exact same service, one price in one country and a different price in a different country, because those fit the needs of those people differently. Next, we have promotional pricing. And this is like a short-term product sale. It's a promotion. It's usually something that you're trying to get off the shelves or kind of showcase for that month. Maybe there's a reason that it's not selling very well and you're like, ooh, okay, I got to do a promo to get sales moving on this product. And so you could do a sale, you could do a buy one, get one free, otherwise known as BOGOs or twofers. You can create these little additional add-ons too. So maybe you have a service that's like not selling very well. If you add on a little promotion on top of that, maybe that'll help sell. And then we have value pricing, which is different than value-based pricing. It's really confusing if we're just talking about pricing based on the client's perception of our value, is different than value pricing, which is just making sure it's a value for your client, you know, and keeping it as a valuable service that's low cost that they'll pay for. So next you have captive pricing, and this pricing is classically known as like a subscription or something you would need to renew or buy over and over again to keep your audience captive so that they don't just kind of float off into space, right? And so attention is currency, and if you can keep your clients' attention on your service for longer, then you're more likely to make sales with them. And so how can you captivate them in different ways to give you even small amounts of money between services? And last, we have pricing at a premium. Notice how there's all these other pricing strategies that we can utilize besides pricing at a premium. However, pricing at a premium is basically what I hear most people calling for. We have to do our top rates, otherwise we're going to hurt the market. Don't ever go too low. Don't ever give discounts. That's not how economics work. We don't always want to price at the premium, because what happens there is that is actually what diminishes the market, because you're providing a lower quality service at a higher price rate, giving the client more expectations, and then you're not going to deliver on those. Then the next time they hire someone at the same rate, or they're not going to be even willing to pay that rate because they were so disappointed by those services. And so instead, you only want to be utilizing pricing at a premium if you're actually a premium service. If you're actually niched out, you're a master of your craft, you're a high quality, high caliber performer, then we price at a premium. Otherwise, we want to be utilizing other pricing strategies to draw in our business and keep a healthy market flowing. Okay? So here's the thing. Once you determine your price for your business, then you have the opportunity to determine the right pricing strategy for your business. And this is going to drastically increase your profit margins, you guys. If we can really learn to leverage these different business strategies at different times for different lengths of times to different markets, then we kind of realize that there's no solid one right answer, and that everything is fluid in business. And we really just want to work with our market's needs, no matter where they're at financially. You really want to remember that not every pricing strategy that's listed is going to be right for your business, and not every pricing strategy is going to be right for your business at every time. And so you really want to test pricing strategies and see which ones actually work for your market and actually make sense, and which ones are a detriment, and which ones you want to keep and utilize for long-term campaigns, and which ones you want to utilize for short-term campaigns. So we're going to adjust our prices based on the supply and demand of our market and not our competitors' prices. Okay. Once again, my name is Kristen Railing with Pricing Yourself Like a Pro. Thank you for watching.